Hey, what's up, everybody? It's good to see you. How are you? It's good to be seen by you. I'm Bill Sylvia. I'm the Dungeon Delver. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Thanks for coming to a late night live stream. Said there were like 14 of you in the stream, and now it says there's 7. I don't know if that's some kind of weird internet problem or what, but regardless of who's here, welcome. We had a pretty good live stream last night. We had a good guest. We had Spiros on last night. He talked about his RPG that he's got going. And I want to talk about that a little bit now that it's in the rearview mirror. I want to talk about something. Excuse me, I'm getting my coaster. I want to put my drink on this side of the DM screen. First of all, I had a lot of fun with the live stream. Spiros was awesome. And I definitely want him to come back on the show. That would be just kicking rad if he would come back. But there's something else less fun and more serious, unfortunately, that I got to mention. Somebody was in the chat last night. I'm going to get Risa on the show before 2024 is out. I don't mean that in like a scheming way. I mean, I literally talked to her about it to come on and talk about horror movie stuff in October, but I don't want to spoil anything. She's a very nice lady, and talking to the folks over at Brave Alice and of course interfacing with them and Matt and everything has been so cool. But anyway, so someone was in the chat last night, and it's like 808 East or East 808 or something like that. And don't go track this person down and give him any grief. I dealt with what was going on, but I feel like I really should mention this. Apple juice, by the way, guys, very tasty apple juice. So this guy came in and immediately started from the premise that he thought Spiros was making a political statement with his game, and that Spiros was maybe, I don't know, kind of a crypto fascist or something like that, because of the way the government in Greece is and now. And it was kind of a dumb premise, because I didn't see anything inherently political in anything that he was saying. Hey, Imperial Ramblings, you're on deck next to talk about, so don't go anywhere. Yeah, Jimmy, you're absolutely right. But I was willing-ish to put up with this stupidity, because I wasn't going to ask Spiros the questions that he kept telling me to ask. What do you think about the national government of Greece? And, this, that, and the other. That's not what we do here. That's not what we ever, 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 ever do here. Ever. All right. I don't do that kind of show. If my guest comes at me and wants to do that, they say, hey, I want to discuss this stuff, I'll say, I would prefer that we focus on the game as art, But he was insistent about it. But I kept ignoring him. But what got me to the you're done, you're gone moment was some rather ugly comments about Robin Williams. Hey, Ryan, David, how are you, my friend? If I wasn't so beat tired, Ryan, we'd be finishing up L1, but we're going to try and do that Monday night. So tune in Monday night, Ryan. So yeah, at that point, he was gone. And then he came back, and then I kicked and banned that. I have no interest in that kind of discussion on my show. When my, oh God be with you, brother. I remember both my mom and my dad going through it. I can only imagine. James, let me know how that works. Ultrasonic cleaners. First of all, how much was it? Tell me how much it was. So, talking about a role-playing game and that sort of thing. That's what I do here. I will talk about the corporate malfeasance of Wizards of the Coast. But I a lot of times people leave comments under the videos where I'm talking about Wizards of the Coast, and they'll say, like, this is what happens when companies embrace this kind of philosophy and policy. And I won't ban those comments, and I don't dislike anyone who leaves those comments, but I that's just not my jam. If you follow me on Twitter, which I think Ryan is probably the only person here who regularly follows me on Twitter, my bio says first edition AD&D only, no politics. I don't want to talk about it. I sit in this chair and I sit at that table and I sit at that computer to escape. This is an escape pod that I will gladly pilot for all of you guys, so we can get out of the radiation belt of awfulness that things seem to be doing on a day-to-day basis, and worse and worse and worse. So that's kind of what went on behind the scenes. And I felt bad because I kept seeing the stuff coming up. Yeah, Jimmy, yeah, that's just exactly what I'm talking about. But I kept seeing the stuff and I'm trying to talk to Sparrows. He's going on and on and on and on about this. But what kind of broke me, Dungeon Minister, hello, thank God you survived McDonald's. Dungeon Minister, can I ask you a quick question just to break my chain of thought for a second? In Canada, wouldn't it be McDonald's rather than McDonald's? Anyway. Oh, okay. So a bunch of people who do follow me on Twitter and here. Well, anyway, so that's just kind of that's what it was. And it was pissing me off that I was having to spend time, because at first he was like, hey, this looks German. Is this German? The accent and the art. And I'm like, no, dude, he's from Greece, I just started innocently enough, but he's like, ask him this, ask him this, ask him that. I'm like, I'm not going to ask him that. If I go on to somebody else's live stream and they start asking me, they're like, well, what do you think about this political situation in America? I'm going to say, how many hit dice does that politician have? Cafe McDonald, there you go. What Dungeon Minister are talking about? Dude got a Filet-O-Fish today, and it was literally like, how in the mid early 2000s, like 06 to like 2014, everybody was into deconstructing foods. So it's like, you know, you go to a restaurant and you pay $900 for a deconstructed hamburger, and it's like, you know, they bring you your meat, and then there's like 3 spaghetti thin strips of bun bread that they've like fried in duck fat, and then you know, they bring out a flight of cheeses later, and they call that a cheeseburger platter. I wish I'd thought of that, Ryan. That's awesome. Oh, IR, I love that. We would do better if we rolled up a new politician every election. Just 3D6 down the line, though. I'll go with Kyle Schuant on that. 3D6 down the line. So yeah, he got a deconstructed filet of fish. And he commented to McDonald's Canada. He added them. And I replied, and it pulled that in. I said, honestly, is McDonald's trying to get you to give up hope for Lent this year? And yeah, but they wanted everything short of your Canadian Social Security number. What day, what time, what kind of dining experience, your receipt, your order number, who served you, why did you order the fish, what car were you in, were you a passenger or were you driving, are you celibate, are you Orthodox or heterodox? You know, it's like, oh my God. Right? McDonald's is like, it costs like $60 for me to get McDonald's. A few years ago, like just when the human malware started to hit, getting dinner for 4 of us at Culver's, which we were doing frequently, I was going out and picking it up. You know, it was pushing $50 for the 4 of us, and I was like, ouch. That's way more. And now it's like, yeah, what in the hell? Well, I mean, we haven't wound. I'm doing it. I'm talking about politics. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Yes, Culver's is delicious. Culver's is amazing, and seriously, the biggest, most sincere. This is the polite version of bless your heart, Wisconsin. God bless you. Jesus loves you. Thank you for sharing Culver's with the rest of the country, particularly the Southeast. Now, with that said, you guys need Hardee's. Don't tell me Carl's Jr. It's different. You guys need Hardee's up there in Wisconsin. We need to have a cultural exchange. Five Guys. That's the bomb. That is the gold standard. Five Guys is the best hamburguesa del Yankee that you can get. So I was talking about Imperial Rambling, or I was going to start about Imperial Ramblings. Dude sent me a new mic that he's going to work with me in a couple of weeks to get set up. Dinner for 4 at Five Guys. Granted, you get 30 pounds of French fries. Right? You get like the potato ration that a Russian infantryman gets at Five Guys. Well, we're gonna hang out, IR. It's gonna happen when you're here in Orlando. We're gonna hang out, brother. Mushroom Swiss burgers were the best. When I was a kid and I got my tonsils taken out, and the doc told my mom, you know, all about like the soft foods and stuff. On the way home, I don't know if this is like Blink twice if you're in trouble, local Gumby. But anyway, but no, we stopped at Hardee's on the way. My mom was like, "What do you want to eat?" I said, "A mushroom burger and French fries and a Sprite." So she said, "If this hurts even a little bit," I wolfed it down, and then we had Domino's pizza that night. Didn't phase my throat at all. Rax was great. Anyway, I want to go back and talk about Imperial Ramblings if he's still out there. Anyway, he sent me that's awesome, Death Angels. He sent me this kick-ass microphone, soundboard, shock mount, and pop filter, like this brand new thing. So the blue snowball may be going away soon. It probably will be going away soon. I mean, this thing he said, it's like the company that made it sent him and like 500 other people founders editions of this microphone. And I'm so hyped I'm so excited about getting this thing set up. So James, I'm going to be talking about WotC here in just a few minutes. So big ups, Imperial Ramblings. He is Bo Ganor. He's listed as the show's sound engineer. So I'm going to have that. The boom I will keep, like the boom, and I think this oversized nut. But maybe we'll install it and just bring you guys in for like a casual test stream. We can do some microphone installation ASMR. Okay, everyone, how do I sound now? Let me adjust the pop filter. How about now? But anyway, people like with their ear pods in right now are like, Tappy yogurt container. Out of context, Dungeon Minister, that sounds pretty nasty. Oh my gosh. You guys, I will do 5 minutes of Alex Jones ASMR if someone supers $25 right now. I will watch the timer on the screen. If somebody supers $25, I will do 5 nonstop minutes of Alex Jones ASMR. If I start licking styrofoam mirrors, that's not going to happen. But I'll wait to see if that happens. And I'm going to talk. I may do a video about the interstitial videos, the news videos do. Okay, George, I'm going to. No, I can't really do an Andy Rooney voice, Robert. I've tried. It doesn't work. I just end up sounding not good. An actual D&D question is from George. So I'm gonna address this before I go off the deep end. You're playing an OSE game. And your DM is thinking about changing from 3 alignments to 9 alignments. It makes a difference because it colors and provides it, to my mind, it provides a more solid choice of what kind of a moral compass your character has. I mean, literally from chainmail, they were looking at gray alignment areas. Chainmail implies lawful evilness or good chaoticness. So I think it provides more. I think it provides more texture. I think it gives more flexibility. You know, and you know, to people who say, well, you know what, you know, people aren't like that in real life. You know, the alignment system doesn't work in real life. You're absolutely right. You know what else isn't in real life? Fireballs, red dragons, magic missile, swords that have brains, teleportation spells, an 11-year-old being able to violate all the laws of thermodynamics just by reading a piece of paper. No, Lux, chainmail is not humans versus it is. Well, you know what? Let's read the boilerplate, buddy. You guys are keeping me from like losing my shit about Wizards of the Oh, now I need a super chat. I said a dirty word. Chainmail is rules for medieval miniatures, but it has. Oh, local Gumby, thank you for covering it. But it has what is inside. Oh, look, Gary Gygax's autograph. Well, you guys can't see that, but I want Jeff Perrin's autograph in here too. Yeah, I would call Harry chaotic good. The fantasy supplement. It is an 11-page section. The fantasy supplement. And then there's the fantasy reference table. Now, the Bro SR will tell you that the combat system in here is the proper one to use, but the Bro SR can take a leap off a cliff. They don't play in my house. And I gamed with Gary Gygax. I win the argument. That's not true, Volcano God. I know I've known you for a long time, and I don't know if you're just taking the piss, but it's not true. People absolutely play to their alignments. Not everyone, but anyway, so yeah, here's the alignment system, page 39. General lineup. It's impossible to draw a distinct line between good and evil fantastic figures. 3 categories are listed below as a general guide for the wargamer. So there's already some gray areas creeping in. So yeah, alignment and broader than chaos law neutrality has been a thing from the get-go. I think one of the earliest ever issues of the strategic review, Gary was introducing a broader alignment system as a suggestion. But before I go negative, I want to go positive. I want to talk about something really cool. Last year, when I went to Lake Geneva, which a whole bunch of you guys helped happen, and I'm forever eternally grateful for. when I gamed with Heidi Gygax and Eric Garland, two of the other people there was a gentleman by the name of Pat Kilbane and his wife, whose name escapes me at the moment. You might be familiar with the name Pat Kilbane, but just in case you're not, dude was on Mad TV for many years. He was one of the stars of Mad TV. He was on Seinfeld. He's been in a bunch of movies. He's also a D&D nerd. So I didn't know who he was at the time. I just gamed with him. And so I thought, hey, this guy seems pretty cool. I got back from Lake Geneva and I'm like, well, I would love to talk to that guy on the show about how much fun we had doing that. So I reached out to him. And when I started searching, I was like, oh, okay. But I reached out to Pat. Now, Pat has actually done a biography, a Gary Gygax biography. And I'm going to watch it. I'm going to review it. But the important thing is, finally, now that the movie is out there and you can watch it, and this is kind of a soft announcement why I'm not getting all hype about it, but he will be here on the 7th of March. Pat will be on the show. I'm very excited about that. I finally heard back from him today. And that's going to be very cool. I'm very, very happy about that. And you know what? Just like with another recent awesome guest, back, not last night, but a week before, all my guests are awesome. Yeah, New Glarus was playing too. You're absolutely right, Robert. But Laura, you know, we could have just talked Hollywood stuff, but I didn't want to. I wanted to talk about D&D. So Pat will be here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm not going to geek out about Seinfeld or Mad TV or the other movies and stuff he's done. We're going to talk about D&D. We're going to talk about gaming. We're going to talk about his documentary film. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys will tune in for that. This week coming up, Tim Imholt's going to be on Thursday. We've had Tim on the show once before. Hopefully his audio will be better. He was like coming out of the bottom of a coffee cup, but I'll talk to him about that. But and we're gonna talk about financial malfeasance and the nonsense going on at Hasbro. And in the in-between, hang on a second. In the in-between, Richard Whitters, who was the art director at Wizards of the Coast for many moons, is going to be on the show. Now, you might say, who care? But I care, because Richard, I was talking to him on Twitter, and I was basically like, telling, because he was like, what is your favorite old school D&D art? And so I got talking to, and Twitter was just like, you like this guy tweeted about D&D, look at this post. And I was like, well, that's cool. And so I followed him, and he followed me back, and I start talking to him. I'm like, man, you got to go with Errol Otis. And I gave him the whole spiel about, you know, D&D being where the black magic was and everything. And he's like, damn, I got to play some AD&D. That settles it. Me and my group are going to play some AD&D. So dude gets it, right? Dude gets it. So, James, you guys are awesome just by dint of being my audience. Elliot Vernon, hello. Greetings. Lux, I think you're right about that. I think Han is chaotic good. That's right. Errol was an Arduino artist. Now, I know a lot of you guys might be going, hey, how come why you not have Gamma World tonight? So Yang is down with the stomach flu. Kevin is up to his rear end in alligators with work. And I don't know if you guys know this, that this actually popped up Wednesday, just as we were wrapping up Wednesday. I got a message from Kanek Sapphire. She plays Monday in the Gamma World game. She plays with Kyle and I during the conflict game sometimes. And she messaged me like minutes before we wrapped up. There has been a crisis, a health crisis in her household. I mean, it does involve her, but she is physically okay. But she has a loved one, her husband, who came in and was not okay. He came home from work and collapsed. Her husband has apparently had strokes, plural, before. Needless to say, this made her very concerned. So tonight was going to be a pretty role-play heavy session of Gamma World, and I wanted everybody here for it. Usually it's like, hey, I got 5 people in the game, only 4 are here, we press ahead, or only 3 are here, we press ahead, 2 are here, we do a little bit shorter, but we still press ahead. But I called it. Like I called it. I said, you need to take care of what you need to do. She wasn't pushing for it. Let me be 100% clear. She was not like, I want to come game. And then I was like, I am the hero. I will say, no, we will not game. I'm demoting that to cantrip, Volcano God. I am putting that as a cantrip. That means I will get canonized. And thank you for the super. Thank you for the super. So yeah, but I was like, you know what? Don't come here looking a game. And yes, we have mostly geckos. They're about, they range from like this big to like this big. But they're just common Florida geckos. And they're everywhere. They are everywhere. But anyway, so yeah, I was just like, guys, we're not doing Gamma World tonight. We're not going to Gamma World tonight. So I pushed the show back. I played some Fallout 4. I watched the new Nexpo video, and then I just chilled out and I thought about what I do. But I have been, yes, it is a second level spell. Yeah, I really like geckos. I rescue them when they get in the house and we see them. Man, I've got it down to a science. Cup goes over, piece of stiff paper goes under cup. They go outside. Usually they freak out and jump up into the cup, so I gotta like shake the cup a little bit to make them fall out. I figure that's like a UFO encounter for them, Like they go and do the gecko equivalent of the X-Files. But it's that, or one, if not all, of the 3 cats that are here in the house will murder them. No, football's not over for the year. It's 2024. It's a new football year. It has paused. in April, there is the A-Day game, the live practice game, where we'll see how Alabama's new coach is going to do. And then in September, we're back to it, baby. Back to winning. But anyway, so I was feeling like incredibly unproductive today, and sort of, I am the reason for the Gecko X-Files. Yes. They look at my house and think the truth is in there. Go extinct, gators. Anyway, so we my wife was plenty productive working from home today, but I was like, I just wasn't feeling it. Kind of feeling sorry for myself. I do that sometimes. It just happens. But I was a little productive. Because I was able to reach out to Pat and start setting up our thing when Pat will be on the show. There was somebody, I never want to say I tried to get Goblin Scribes. This is the 5G. I got to fight it. Wow, 5G's existed since I was like 12? Fascinating. But man, it's not a closed door. So there have been two people, one person this past summer, I asked, they're a huge, like, you guys would go, oh my gosh, that person's on the show. And they were like very, very polite about it. I heard back from them instantly, but they were like, absolutely not. I am terribly camera shy. I can't do it. And I said, well, you could go voice. And he's like, nope, I can't do that either. But good luck on your show. Your channel looks awesome. Thank you so much for the invite. I asked them at like 1:45 and 2:15, I get the email back. And then like 2:25, I get the next email back. So that was, it was a positive exchange, even though it didn't lead to someone coming on the show. And I'm not upset about that at all. So I have a hopeful out for someone, like when I again, I don't want to spoil it, but when I told Paul about it, he was like, holy crap, you really swung for the fences on that one. I was like, yeah. Well, I realize that now. I thought this person was just this, and I didn't realize this. And he was like, yeah, that'll be awesome. So I don't think Shat plays D&D, if I can be honest with you, James. I mean, sure, I think if he thought it was good for a yoink, he might like show up on a D&D show and roll the dice. Oh, what does that do? I make a death save. Ha ha ha. I'm William Shatner. Spock! And that would be it. I don't picture the Shat as go to a game store, grab some minis, see if the new book is out. I can believe he used to play paintball. I can believe Shat used to. Again, I appreciate that, Jimmy. Thank you. I wish I had the burger. Actually, I had some Publix chicken tenders and potato wedges for dinner and some nanner pudding for dessert, so I'm fine. Shatner cheated at paintball. That's nice, Dungeon Minister. The chat, yes. But I'm not calling it a I'm not calling it a this person can't come on the show. They were just like, man, that looks really cool. I'm a follow your show. I'm super busy. Here's my person you can contact. They have a person I can contact. That's like the low. But I mean, they followed me on Twitter. I followed that. They followed me first. This person followed me first, which I thought was pretty cool. But I have plenty of cool people coming up. Like I said, I got Pat Kilbane, I got Tim Imholt, I got Richard Witters. So I think it's I think we got a good lineup coming up. '93. Them's good innings. Oh yeah, so I was going to talk. I know on the interstitials I've talked about this book that WotC has coming out in June that is the OD&D read through. And I guess they did a video on their YouTube channel about it today, and they were talking about how, look, I'm just going to boil it down. They called Gary and Dave a couple of old white men who are the R word, and the game needs to advance past them, and they're responsible for terrible tropes being in role-playing games. And honestly, if I get the book as a gift, if someone sends it to me, if I get it for Father's Day, if I get it for this coming Christmas, it's not going on any wish list or anything. I'll give it a review. I absolutely, positively will not be buying that book. We're doing good, Chris. No, they won't, James. They're afraid to. They won't do it. They are afraid to find out. And somebody, Volcano God, sent me a "That's Enough Internet" for tonight. And somebody, I don't know what. First of all, let me just say something. Outside of any Alex Jones feelings I've got, I know a lot of people have Grow Dog, at least one of you guys, maybe more, have said nice things about me on Reddit, and I do appreciate that. I don't go to Reddit and post on Reddit anymore in their RPG subs. But the mindset that is still out there, well, I say still, that has come out there recently. But before well, this kind of ties into the mindset. Let me explain something. Reddit is a Chi-Com psyop. It is packed to the gills with useful idiots who do the CCP Central Committee dirty work for them willingly because they think they're going to hold overcoming colonialist trauma slam poetry nights in the collective and not be sent to mine anthracite coal with their bare hands or assemble iPhones for 22 hours a day in a dormitory factory. It's due out in June, Orbital Air. That is the population of Reddit. The D&D stamps, I think, are coming out next month in March, James. But this is what some mouth breather, and if you guys know who this is, I'm going to say this person's name. I'm going to say both of these people. This is RP Genome on Reddit. Says, I've always felt that what Dave could have become really popular without Gary. I think they probably mean is Wild Dave. But, you know, this is typed by someone on their iPhone while they're ripping the system using Starbucks Wi-Fi. Regardless of whether or not Gary is a big reason it became popular or Dave's capability to market it. But without Dave, Gary never would have had something to make popular, which is so unfucking believably stupid. I've gotten super chats. I'm okay. I don't even know where to begin with that. Gary wrote Chainmail. Gary co-authored Tractics. Gary worked on more game projects while he was at TSR or before Dungeons and Dragons that these people don't know about. But let's move on. To me, that means both people deserve an equal share of the pie and recognition. I'm not here to discuss that. The problem is that Dave has been relegated to a footnote. The problem is not that he deserves more recognition than Gary, but Gary treated him like dog shit, as Gary often did. Gary also injected a lot of the worst sacred cows in the hobby. The entire hobby has had to work towards slaying over the decades. And for me, the fact was that in a lot of important ways, Gary was not a good person, should matter more than it seems to, and a lot of his serious flaws as a person, biological determinism, sexism, directly contributed to D&D's identity culture. These things got into the game itself. Worse, it might be that many people refuse to acknowledge or believe that because it's a lie. Because it is a goddamned lie. It's not acknowledged by more people because it is a fucking falsehood. You 24 chromosome having tool bag. Those people would just rather not believe it. And then the user Elvish Lore, that's ELVISHLORE, one word, on Twitter, if you'd like to, I don't know, see what they're up to, says Gigi was a racist piece of shit. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. These abject cowards hide behind anonymity, make baseless claims, They talk about what a terrible person Gary was. Most of Gary's family, Gail, regardless of what you think about her, Mary, Ernie, Luke, Elsie, Heidi, Alex, are fairly accessible on the internet. These douchebags will hide in their enclaves and make these statements. If I logged on to Reddit right now and said to them what I'm saying to you, I would be banned from the sub and my comment will be deleted because they're a bunch of censorious communists. And it would be like my protestations never were. And they can sit in their stew of vile opinions, spiced up with their cowardice. None of them has a newborn baby bird's backbone to say any of those things to any of Gary's heirs. None of them do. None of them will. I doubt they'd even say it to just a common gamer guy like me. But sit in your little echo chamber, boys and girls. Sit in your little echo chamber. Am I going to sit here and say Gary was, not a complex person, that he made no mistakes? Hell no. Hell no. I'm sure there's people who don't think any of those things about Gary, but still think he's a son of a bitch for something he said or did. Let me let you in on a little clue here. Nobody is without flaw. But these literally non-creative garbage, although I shouldn't say that, what I just read to you guys is a work of incredible fiction. These are the definition of bitter non-gamers. Okay, you hate Gary? Why are you talking about him? Why aren't you playing D&D? Why aren't you playing why aren't you playing a Powered by the Apocalypse game? Why aren't you playing Kids on Bikes? Why aren't you playing Poison? Why aren't you playing Vampire the Masquerade? Why aren't you playing fucking Exalted? No answer. Dead air from these people if you do ask them. It's what they've wanted from the get-go. Just the name. And the hell of it is, they have it. They have everything in the world that they wanted. A chokehold on Dungeons and Dragons, which is the cornerstone of the tabletop hobby. I keep playing and promoting games like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Original Dungeons and Dragons. So do you guys. And people like this come out of the woodwork and start shit like this, and our response is, cool. And we go back to doing what we're doing, and they just get louder and make baser and baser and baser accusations. Hold on there, Clem. You've got everything already, don't you? Don't you? Isn't the game now geared for you? What? Why do you care if, myself and all 5,420 some of my followers lionize Gary Gygax? I would wager a bunch of them don't. What? Why is that? There's something, I don't know. Can somebody out in the audience help me out here? It is the equivalent of walking up to a toddler wearing the jersey of a football team you don't like and getting down in their face and screaming, "They suck and you suck by extension." So that's my rant tonight. Well, Alabama fans can, Mercury. You see a toddler walking down the street, he's got Auburn gear on, you get down in his face and you tell him Auburn sucks. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That's horrible. This is the definition. Oh, that was just that was just the first verse. Jimmy. This is the definition of bitter non-gamers. I wish that I had this text. Because I would put this right now on camera. I would put this in Word. Because I guarantee you, using the same amount of text from RP Genome and Elvish Lore, I could put together a playable AD&D scenario. These two geniuses wasted their time making Reddit shit posts about a game that they hate and they don't play. Meanwhile, any of us, if we were constricted to this character count, could come up with playable D&D. Hello, Greg. Hello, Miss Bella Games. Let me do I still have this? I hope I still have this. Let's see. Okay. This is funny, and I gotta laugh at something. I hope this works. I am Robert. I'm going to do it. Because we were talking about college football. Hopefully this works. Is this going to work? Nope, that is not working. That is not working. Sorry, that did not work. I have this video clip. Imperial Ramblings knows what it is. It's called I Hate Tennessee. It was working, but it was not the right clip. It was not the clip I thought it was. So Death Angels, are they fuss row gone? What is my favorite Girl Scout cookies? Now that's a good question. That's a tough one. What's wrong with Tennessee? What is wrong with Tennessee? Let me tell you what's wrong with Tennessee. I will tell you what's wrong with Tennessee if I can find it. So lemonades are a big, I love lemonades. Okay. Yes, I'm over 18. I'm not gonna try and do this guy's voice. I think some people might deem it offensive. James, I tell you what, if someone supers me, I will do the I hate Tennessee rant in the Alex Jones voice. I'm not going to do it in the voice of the guy who said it, but I will do it. So Thin Mints. Thin Mints are awesome. Thin Mints are great with Baileys. Ice cold Thin Mints and Baileys on the rocks. It's amazing. I love it. They don't do tagalongs anymore, which is a shame. Lemonade stand on the Apple II was, I mean, it's foundational, really. I actually had a port on the 64. But I did play it on the Apple II first. That's just one of those games. Peanut butter. See, I like them all. They've come out with these new ones called Adventurefuls that have sea salt caramel, like a quarter-sized dollop that's like 3/4 thick, not like 3/4 of anything, but like 3.25-cent piece thick of sea salt caramel. It's a crunchy brownie. So they start with a crunchy brownie. They cover that in chocolate. They put a dollop of sea salt caramel on the top, and then zigzag chocolate stripes over it. And it's crisp, and I love it. I absolutely adore it. The coconut caramel ones, those are see, some markets they're called Samoas. I can't remember what they're calling them right now, but those are like, I thought like nobody would enjoy those, but they are. And having eaten some in a time of I want cookies and these are the only ones we have, let me put a $5 in the envelope. Caramel Delights. Yeah, Caramel Delights. That's it. Carlem Delities. So who's going to do it? Is anybody going to super me for the I hate Tennessee rant? Wait, where'd it go? In the Alex Jones voice. You all want it. And yes, you can order them online. I need to talk to the missus about getting the URL for my daughter's cookie. I don't know if they've been able to get that going. But to be honest, the only ones that I dislike, and I put that in massive qualifiers, shortbreads and peanut butter sandwiches. The peanut butter sandwiches, they have kind of a honey flavor to them, which I'm not 100%. Mercury, well, it's $5 Australian. That's like $1.80. I'm teasing, Mercury. I'm teasing. Yes, the Dave. I will get you the information, the Dave. Email me at my email address there, and I will get you the information. I was teasing you, Mercury, by the way. All right. Here we go. The I Hate Tennessee rant. This is about college football. The I Hate Tennessee rant. Thank you, Cal. Mercury got it first. The I Hate Tennessee rant as read by Alex Jones. Man, I hate Tennessee. First of all, it's Tennessee. And I just hate them because they're low down, they're dirty, they're snitches, and I hate Philip Fulmer. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention. I've tried to warn you people. And I hate all their quarterbacks. I just hate Tennessee. Their colors remind me of, it's not that orange you could stand. I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee's colors are that throw-up orange. It's not that orange you can sit with. It's that puke inside of the pumpkin orange, and I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress it enough, people. And they're losers. They're sore losers. Because they're not Alabama. And I hate Tennessee, man. There you go. Alex Jones brings us the I Hate Tennessee rant. Yeah, I need YouTube to get me the supers. No. Okay. So the story behind that is there is a very powerful rivalry between the University of Tennessee and the University of Alabama. Down here, and it does hurt my voice. Good night, Ricky. I didn't know you were here, but good night. But for reasons that I won't get into here, Tennessee kind of ratcheted up the ante quite a bit one year, not too long ago, with regard to some investigations regarding recruiting violations and that sort of thing. And the heat was coming down on Tennessee, and suddenly, magically, their head coach at the time, Philip Fulmer, said, "Hey, I've got evidence that Alabama's been cheating." And it really, really hurt Alabama badly. My blood pressure is 200 over 200, Robert. You could put turbine pumps in my carotid arteries and run all my studio gear off of it. But anyway, there you go. You guys got it. You got some Alex Jones. You got the Tennessee rant. Somebody, okay, all right. I want to get this. Jimmy Invictus, way a few minutes ago, said, "Tomb of Horrors, fun, challenging module or horrible killer dungeon." It is a fun, challenging module. There's no question about it. And that you got in a fight on Reddit about it, I am sorry. But the Tomb of Horrors was never the myths that Gary that people make up about Gary, like, amuse me and sicken me. You saw what happens when they sicken me. The ones that amuse me are things like the Tomb of Horrors. Like, Gary would take your character sheet and rip it up in front of you after he killed your character in Tomb of Horrors. If you walked up to Gary and said, "Hey, I want to play D&D with you," I have a 20th level paladin. Da 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 da. I think he's pretty good. The Gary would break out the Tomb of Horrors, no death save, or no saving throw, death traps, and things like that, and then laugh as he gleefully tore up his character. And that's not true. That was never true. Sometimes people would give Gary their character sheets and say, "You killed him, you can keep it." But Tomb of Horrors is meant, it's not about what's on the sheet. It's about what you've learned up here. It's about what you've learned as a player. If you have legitimately played a character from first level to 14th, 15th, 9th, 10th, whatever level that your Dungeon Master runs Tomb of Horrors, you have if you have been a good player, if your Dungeon Master has not handed you the entirety of your character's success on a platter, then your play acumen is going to be high. You're going to know, to test things, to not trust what you see, to be cautious in all your approaches. And that's what the Tomb of Horrors is all about. It's learning to be, it is applying all the caution you should have learned. Don't dilly-dally, but do take time to investigate. Any thoughts on the Gygax material due to release? Well, since I wrote some of it, I'm for it. TLG, I guess, finally reached out to me and said, what did they say? Can you shoot this person an email at this email address about your Yigsburg districts? He's the helm of that project now. Thanks. And then they signed their name. And I said, let's see. To whom should I direct inquiries about the Teeth of the Barkesh Nor? Because it's not a Yigsburg district. There's Don McVitie, folks. He tried to warn you too. He's a good man, and they tried to silence him. You can read up on this, people. Go to delverplanet.net. You can read up on all this. They tried to shut him down. They tried to stop him from getting the word out there to you. They can't stop me. But anyway, so they did reach out to me, and we'll see what we'll see what happens once I reach back out to them. I am completely okay if they want to release my districts, but I will be given recompense for them. I will get paid, and that's that. Things that I gave away free in retrospect, I shouldn't have. I am glad people love my AD&D modules. I wish that I had applied all that to getting paid and had the big, huge brain that Stuart Marshall and Matt Finch had when they created Osric and Swords and Wizardry. And I would have done that then and published my AD&D stuff as AD&D stuff back then for pay instead of for free. Like right now, Don, like right now, like as we speak, like, or on chat, or just in the broad sense of things, I have given myself terrible heartburn. I think it was the acidically high content of my apple juice. Well, it's pineapple juice. Ace pineapple juice. Yes, James, I was a part of Osric. My name is in the book. I did Sphinxes, Snakes, and Spiders. I kid the guys who did Osric, and I do, because they're swell dudes. But they're talking about an updated, newer. Thank you, local. Thank you, I appreciate it. I was kind of the fifth Beatle. But anyway, so is it? There's a Little Shop of Horrors, talking to Don. Oh, right. So yeah, they were talking about doing it, and I reached out to one of the organizers, one of the guys who's doing that. Eye of the Beholder, EOTB. He pops in sometimes in the chat, and I said, look, I don't like to brag, but I'm kind of the linchpin of the whole Osric thing. It really, it's success or failure. It was all down to me. It's like I basically carried that across the goal line. So you're welcome. It's a joke. Of course I didn't. I literally to Stuart was like, I really need spiders, sphinxes, and snakes. Could someone please do that? I was like, oh, I will. So if you grab a copy of Osric, my name is in the book, because I did like 3 monsters. So it's a joke. Like if I say like, yes, I had a hand in Osric, I'll gladly sign your Blackblade copy of the Osric rules. Just bring them to me at a convention if I'm not mobbed by my fans. It was. I wish I had the mindset to go in and kick the ass on Osric and get it out there, or Swords and Wizardry. I mean, just genius. And the wailing and gnashing. I wish I could tell you guys some of the rending of clothes and the throwing of ashes on heads from parties at Wizards of the Coast over Osric. I wish I could share some of that, because it was hilarious. It was hilarious, dude. Watching them try and claim that what just happened to them in 4K was not happening. And that's part of what OGL 1. Whatever, 2.0, whatever, 1.2 was about. If you'll note, they still, and I keep telling people this, even though I was celebrating the big W last February, late January, when they seemingly backed down, guys, they still haven't made a safe harbor for the original OGL. But they put the OGL 1.2 under Creative Commons. 1.1. 1.1. Is that under Creative Commons? It is not. Keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry. And that brings up something else. Again, I talked about this a little bit midweek, and I'm going to mention it again now. People said in response to my Hasbro was caught shopping D&D to Tencent. No, Bill, you're all wrong. No. It was just the computer game stuff, and it's a mistranslated article. So therefore, because it's Tuesday and you get a fizz bin, that's not true. And you're going to be issuing an apology, but I ain't apologizing for shit. I know for a fact that when money is on the table, everything is on the table. Show up to somebody's house to buy a computer from them, or pool table, or an electronic keyboard, or a big green egg, or a riding lawnmower. And they're standing there in front of their garage. Ask them if their table saw is for sale and offer them a few $100 for it. Odds are you're going to leave with that. That guy had no intention of selling it to you. That is his beach bike that's covered with cobwebs. He hasn't used that friggin' thing. He doesn't even own a rack to take it to the beach anymore. So, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm taking the big green egg for $300, but how about $75 for that Schwinn? Yeah? Cool. Everything's on the table in those cases. Everything is on the table. Oh, by the way, the Dave. When can I get you on the show, my friend? Email me about that. We're gonna do some stuff about that very soon. I'd have to offer more than your replacement table saw. That's fine. Oh no, Don, don't misunderstand me. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying they went there with the intention of selling pen and paper D&D. I'm saying if Tencent said, what do you let the tabletop game go for? I mean, yeah, we're gonna buy the video game. But over there, you guys aren't really doing anything cool with it. Can we buy that too? That's what went on. And there might have been some, well, maybe. How much were you going to spend on a tabletop role-playing game? Well, I don't know. Maybe $1.50, It's more in the business is, $3 or $4. Ooh, that's a little rich. If you don't think that kind of thing went on, you're not paying attention. Not you specifically, Don. I'm just saying people in general. And again, to come back to this, guys, you don't sell properties when they're doing badly. They're not worth anything. You let properties go after you've pumped them up. Okay? Beware of companies when their properties are doing well in the overall, and D&D is doing exceptionally well. It's the only thing they have that's doing well. And if they can turn it into a bandage, into a pressure bandage that they can slap on that hemorrhage and just go back to stopping to have grognards scream at them, they just can go back to making Star Wars figures and Marvel toys nobody will buy. And they don't have to drag the albatross of D&D around. So they're trimming it down They're shaving it down to make it look like a lean, mean, money-making machine. No, James, I don't think Osric really needs the OGL, but I think they did it just to cover their butts. They sold E1 at a loss, yep. See, I think you can put out a D&D module and not stick the OGL in it. Yeah, Magic is as badly as they managed Magic, Cal. They absolutely have. They absolutely still have a money printing machine there. So that's, you know, that's what's going on with Hasbro, and they just cut 44 employees out of their video game division. All of the people. Oh no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. So here's what I gotta get, because I got this from Elven Maiden Inn, who I really would like to have on the show one day. Probably never going to happen. She's very shy, but let me see. I got to scroll down. I got to find this. Let me see. Is that in my? Hang on. My wife played D&D for a long time. My oldest daughter is about to start playing. My youngest is kind of wants, maybe, sort of, to play. We'll see. Let me see. Find this post from her, because I want to make sure I say this right, because she asked me to talk about this. She tagged me in a post. Okay, so here it is. Jeff Pobst, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I'm not making funny, of Hidden Path Entertainment, has announced they laid off 44 game developers, including artists that worked on Baldur's Gate 3 and Dungeons and Dragons books. And this is what he had to say. For over 6 months, our team at Hidden Path Entertainment has been in numerous active discussions to find replacement funding for an exciting RPG project. In the face of a challenging environment, we now have no choice but to pause development on that project and reduce the company size until we have an opportunity to return to it. Because of this, we've had to make the painful decision to release 44 amazing game devs from our studio. Those who are impacted have played key roles in the development of a number of awesome projects. Their creativity, passion, and commitment has left an indelible mark on Hidden Path. We are determined to do what we can to support these talented professionals so they can resume their careers elsewhere, all while hoping we can work with them again soon. Here's a Google sheet with info about really talented folks that you should definitely consider for any job openings, and I hope something nice comes from that. And she mentions their RPG project is paused, but that means one thing: it was canceled, and they were working on Dungeons and Dragons RPG game 2+2. You know what it means, and I certainly do. I certainly do. So, you know, new channel, deliver, can't gaming, you need sidekicks like TDM has. but you can't use a giant. I'm not sure. $10 Prime minis for tomorrow. Going to be able to paint something. Yay! Woohoo! That's awesome. Michael Mertig. Well, Michael just showed up, so I guess we'll just have to start from the beginning. Oh my gosh. I wish I didn't put this sweatshirt on before I started the stream. I was like, oh man, I had this t-shirt on last night too. Michael missed the Alex Jones I hate Tennessee rant. Isn't that a shame? Y'all have to go back. I don't know what the timestamp is. Whoa, Cal, based. Is it still in the... It is still. Well, it's still in the buffer. Do I root for any other SEC schools? So here's the thing. The SEC loves to hate each other. If I think it's going to screw up something and cause chaos that is good for Alabama, I'll root for almost anybody. I'll never root for Tennessee. I'll never root for Texas A&M. And now that we have them, I won't root for the Longhorns. Oklahoma, I'm largely indifferent to. I think Oklahoma is about to become Vandy West. I'm sorry, that's just a thing that's going to happen. Hey, Graph Paper Architect, have you been lurking out there? So this is going to get me in trouble with Imperial Ramblings. Unless they're playing Alabama, I have no problem rooting for the Florida Gators because there is nothing like watching a Florida man run around in a field on a hot Saturday afternoon, running into people and trying to knock them down and trying to snatch a piece of pig leather out of their hands. Oh, I didn't know if you had been there. So yeah. Well, welcome. So what is my opinion when it comes to skills / attribute? The Dave, please expand on that question. Please expand on that question. I will root for... Now, let me tell you something. There comes a time in a team's history when there are things that happen that are beyond the control of fan base. They're beyond the control of circumstance. You know, if something horrible happened to the coach or a player at the University of Tennessee, I think regardless of your football conference, for that time, we're all that team's fan. Mike Leach was one of the most unique figures in college football. He would go out and get his ass beat by 40 points by Alabama. And when the sideline reporter would come over, he would start talking about his favorite Halloween candy because honestly, what does it matter at that point? He was a funny, weird guy. mindset wise, I think probably if you gave me X's and O's football knowledge and said, you're going to go coach a team, I would probably be like Coach Leach. God bless you, Father Aaron. Be well. There's 2 skit shows on YouTube that if you like college football, or football in general, but if you're not aware of these, I recommend you watch. One is called SEC Roll Call, and it's done by one fellow named Matt Mitchell, very funny guy. And the other is called SEC Shorts. Now, SEC Shorts has gotten big enough to be on ESPN. Like, they've run it as part of their game day show. I'm stamping that, Dave. I'm coming back to your comments, but somebody asked me about football. So Mike Leach passed away in December at the end of the season, and it was very sudden. He fell into a coma due to cardiac issues, and then passed away. And we as a conference, and I think the sports country that follows college football, hurt because a unique person was gone. I'm marking all your comments, Dave. I'm going to get back to you. We're going to talk about football or talk about D&D in a minute. But at the end of the season, when they did season wrap-ups, SEC Shorts did theirs like a kindergarten teacher going over how did your year go, and it's like end of year report cards. And it's the same actor. He's just wearing a team jersey for each different team. And it's, it's full of stuff like you started out strong, and it's all D's, like defense D, special teams D, coaching D, recruiting, offense D, and just on and on. And they go through all the teams, and the final shot of the sketch, he's sitting across the table from her, and he's wearing a Mississippi State jersey, and he looks like he's about to cry. There's no dialogue. There's no joke. She just stands up and walks over and hugs him. God, that got me. And Matt Mitchell did his roundup, which was very funny. And at the end of it, he's got his clipboard where he's going over similar things with each team. And he flips over the last page, and he's like, "What's this?" It's a pirate map. And they cut over to himself, because he does the skits all himself, wearing a Mississippi State shirt. And he said, "You guys did it. You went to the big pirate ship. And you won." And he says, "We had a great captain." And it just chokes me up. So that's what I think about the SEC. Nobody fights like us, and nobody, we are the biggest frenemies in college football down here in the SEC. Let's answer the Dave's questions, because he started this a while ago. The Dave asks, I think that's part of why Nick got out of it, Michael. But we're sports balling. We're going to answer the Dave's question. What is my opinion when it comes to skills / just attributes in thieves? And I know you like thieves too, so we're just going to call them thieves. Yes, please give it a like. Please do give the stream a like. By the way, this stream is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. That's Don McVitie. By the way, that's his thing. So the big brain behind Hellebarde Games is in the audience, unless he went off to do something else. But Hellebarde makes the kind of games they'd like to play, whether it's for 5th edition or the OSR. Old school is in play at the table with Hellebarde games, and you can find them at DriveThruRPG or on their website, hellebardegames.com, and I have them linked down below. And boy, are his arms tired. That's for local Gumby. Anyway, so let me go through all of these here. I got to start. Let's see. What is my opinion? So thief abilities, in my opinion, are not different from magic user cast spell, monk strikes with open palm, fighter swing sword, and so on. They just have a more granular 2-hit system. And I'm okay with that. People are like, oh, you don't like skills in D&D, but thief skills. Yes, but they're a more granular mechanic for prying open locks, keeping an eye out for traps, and finding out whether or not something's talking on the other side of the door. So that is what I feel about that. Now I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to look at some of your other and put those up here. Let's see. So skills pulled from thief abilities, but having a thief with skills such as sneaking imply it's hard to have other people. Well, I don't think it reduces I don't think that's necessarily a thing. Because remember, monks you can cast silence 15-foot radius on a party, and guess what? They're not going to, silence 15-foot radius, cast it on a rock, carry that rock with you, and the party can truck on down in their own silent dead zone and never be heard. But it doesn't remove the necessity of the thief. And I mean, I don't really think of thieves and rogues. Like, rogue is a level title for thieves for me. So does that kind of inexpertly answer your question, Dave? Michael Mertig has a Gamma World related question. Will the Fallout TV show give you a good idea? I don't know. I'm suspicious of everything that comes on TV these days. They're going to wreck the background of Avatar so bad that, like, I know I can't point somebody to that and say that's what Avatar is like. You think that leaves you with a And Imperial Ramblings is right. Part of the state constitution is actually written in mayonnaise. It leaves just a greasy enough stain that it's soaked through the parchment. So that's, Now, back a few months ago when they dropped the final trailer for Avatar, I got excited. I was hyped. And I said, yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And then I started hearing about some of the story decisions over the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, but the thing about it is, it looked really good. The Fallout trailers I've seen look really good. But I mean, you know, what are we going to see out of them? Vault Tech is a benevolent company, you know. The Brotherhood of Steel is a charity organization. Nobody actually uses bottle caps. That's just one weird vault somewhere. You know, I don't know what they're going to do. Hey, Christopher Sacco got that Gamma World 1E print on demand. It is a fine book. I use the PDF at the table most of the time, so mine is tucked up on a shelf up here, which I don't think I can get without, you know, the hilarity. It's a meme now. I get it. So, and I mean, you know, I watched, like I said, the trailer for Avatar looked beautiful. Visually, every note was there. But the writers of the show, the original show, they walked. So I can't, man. I'm going to say this about barbecue sauce, about Alabama barbecue. There is a really cool YouTube channel. I haven't watched them in a while, called Asian Boss. And there's a bit where they take a couple of North Korean defectors to try their first American style barbecue. But dig this, in Seoul, American style barbecue is huge. They love American style barbecue. And now when I say North Korean defectors, I don't mean like they're skeletally thin and still have ragged North Korean military uniforms draped over their malnourished frames. They've been in South Korea a while. They've acclimatized. This is just not something they've tried. So they, no, gold barbecue sauce is the Carolina thing, Jimmy. But of all the barbecue that they tried, they liked some from an Alabama-based company that also operates in Seoul. The best. They liked it the best. Yeah, I tell you what, Duke's probably makes some of the best mayo. If you get a Publix sub, they're using Duke's mayo, or at least you can ask for it. But Duke's also makes a line of barbecue sauce, and Duke's Carolina Gold is phenomenal. It is delicious. The thin vinegar sauce in Carolina, that is a North Carolina thing. It's thin and it has a strong, it is like vinegar and pepper, 50% vinegar, 50% pepper, and they just live together and burn off the inside of your mouth. But it tastes great. It's an acquired taste. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not a guy who gets upset over barbecue. Barbecue is good. Oh, but whose barbecue? Barbecue is good. Chicago barbecue is good. Oklahoma barbecue is good. Texas barbecue is good. Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, North and South Carolina, Virginia. barbecue is good. That's utterly terrible, Global Gumby. Pulled pork is fantastic. Oh, that's good to know, Imperial Ramblings. I mean, if someone understands, hello, Sacrificial Mind, welcome. We are talking smack about stuff. If you have an old school role playing game question you want to ask or something you want to discuss, throw it in the chat and we'll discuss it. Right now, we are talking about barbecue. Miss Bella likes a sweet barbecue. My wife and kids love sweet barbecue sauce, not honey barbecue. The honey is a little too sweet for them, but they like, they like sweet. We have a chain down here in Florida. I don't think it's anywhere but Florida, called Sonny's. It's small enough that, yes, they have actual like proper pit barbecue. The meat you're eating on Sunday, they started cooking late Friday or early Saturday. But it is a very, very nice for a chain restaurant. It's not like McDonald's. They have a salad bar and a separate bar on the restaurants and that sort of thing. Peach barbecue. I've had peach salsa before. I had a spicy peach mango salsa once that I got as a gift in a gift basket that was delicious. Fat Boys was awesome in Kissimmee and St. Cloud. But yeah, pulled pork. I may have to do a butt this week. I may have to do a pulled pork butt this weekend rather. We'll see. I might do hamburgers and hot dogs. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so command post. Were you talking about treating monsters more like NPCs? More, I don't want ecology of articles in the Dragon just bored the hell out of me. Imperial Ramblings thinks we should rank barbecue sauces on the alignment table. I agree with you fully. I think anything from Heinz is neutral. Anytime you start talking about daddle peppers, ghost peppers, scorpion peppers, anything like that from India, stuff that originated from India and wound up in the swamps of Louisiana, that's neutral evil. That is the evilest evil. It only exists to do evil. Now you start talking about something like endorphin rush, that's chaotic evil. Yes, it adds flavor, but it's still gonna hurt. A hot Texas barbecue sauce, that's lawful evil. There's a burn to it, but it's controlled, you've got chaotic good. Like your vinegary Carolina barbecue sauce, that's your chaotic good. Your neutral good, your best. That is the broadest area where most barbecue sauces go in. And then you get to something like Stubbs, that's lawful good. Lawful neutral would probably be, I don't know, like something you could get at a mom and pop only where you are, and chaotic neutral would be something you could get locally, but the mom and pop is a dude making the barbecue sitting in a trailer on the side of the road. So there you go. No, I think dry rub is lawful neutral too, Imperial Rambling. So anyway, let's talk about monster ecologies for a second. I can keep going. You guys will have to super chat to stop me. I'm just saying. Like I don't want to know about how a piercer is arranged internally. It's like that just I don't want to know about a piercer's internal organs. It makes your mouth spicy when you put it. How do you get your mouth down to your foot, the Dave? But I'm not overly confronted. Like, ooh, what do orcs eat? Where'd they go to the bathroom? They probably poop in a pot and throw it out the front of their underground lair, and they eat people, weaker creatures, and roots and tubers. There, that's it. That's all I need to know. I'm not super concerned that there aren't fireplaces and, you know, oh, they won't have enough air down in this cave. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not into crafting. I'm not sure I follow Death Angels. Ettins eat orcs. Then orcs eat bugbears. But what do the hobgoblins pick off the survivors? I forgot that 2 people in my party had Rings of Free Movement, and I unleashed a bunch of carrion crawlers on them. I understood what you meant, Dave. I was just making a joke. I mean, I'm okay with saying it's clear the monsters are going to eat this, or, you know, maybe throwing into a module while this is their water source, but I don't get too caught up in it. I mean, I'm not saying no one should. Would rock soup work? Oh, that's a good question, James. Sure. I mean, you could have a rock soup type thing. Let me tell you, one of the best rock soup or stone soup things is there's a great teen comedy. It's not even really a teen comedy so much as a road movie that came out in the 80s, but it's set in like 1970. So it's really weird to place, but I love it nonetheless. And it stars Kevin Costner. I'm trying to think of his name. Judd Nelson is in it. Those are basically the 2 big names, Kevin Costner and Judd Nelson, but it's called Fandango. And a buddy of theirs doesn't want to marry this girl, and he's running away from her. And thank you, Don. And then he decides, like at the last minute, like, yeah, no, it's the right thing to do. I should marry this girl. So they have no means to put on a wedding. And they go to this tiny, tiny, itty bitty microscopic dot on the map town in Texas. They don't do this just to they don't do this just to have the wedding. They just wind up there. The whole movie, it's worth your time, guys. It is absolutely worth your time. But they're in the town square, and they bring out they break out a card table, and they set it up, and they're talking about all the stuff they're going to do. And they basically go from that card table to having the entire town invited to the wedding. So it's like 75 or 100 people, all this food, a band. They have like the light, you know, the candles in the bags for the light. It's beautiful. It is a lovely, lovely scene. And they kind of gently swindle the town into doing this, but everybody has fun. It's a Bilbo's wedding almost, kind of, or a Bilbo's birthday, rather, kind of thing. And it's really, you know, it's really fun. Troll parts can't be a perpetual food supply. They will destroy your insides. Although I guess stomach acid would break them down. I would deem that trolls are poisonous. That there's stuff in trolls that will kill you if you eat it. The capsaicin cream, Dave. Have you seen Orange Is the New Black? I watched part of the first season. I was at home alone with Netflix, and I binged like part of the first season. And a woman basically almost, again, it's almost a stone soup kind of thing where she goes through and she gets all this other stuff from prisoners. And I don't remember what it is she gets like cocoa butter cream from somebody, and then she gets like 5 chili peppers that she then chews up and spits into the cocoa cream and mixes it up and gives it to the head of the kitchen in the the prison whom she had offended, so she wasn't being allowed to eat. Like she was slowly being starved to death. And says, hey, rub this on your varicose veins, the capsaicin will... and so she does that. She's not in pain anymore. She lets her off the hook. Anyway, guys, we've been going for like 2 hours. Okay. Lux asked for it, Can I do an avatar alignment chart? Sure, absolutely. Aang is... No, I think that's unfair to start there. Sokka's chaotic good. He is just so friggin' random. Toph is chaotic neutral, but with strong good tendencies. Let's see. I gotta think about this. Zuko starts out lawful evil, but literally by the end of the show is lawful good. He makes a transition that sharp, in my opinion. There's rules that still have to be followed, but he realizes that what he believed in was wrong. Let me think about Aang for a minute. I got to think about this one. Let's see. Iroh's lawful good. I know he suffers under a not great... Iroh's lawful good. Katara is neutral good. Katara just wants the absolute best out of everyone. Azula's lawful evil. Suki is lawful good. Fire Lord Ozai is neutral evil. May is neutral, and Ty Lee is chaotic neutral. There you go. No, this is Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is an amazing show that everyone should watch. The cartoon. Momo, well, he's semi-intelligent, so neutral, parens good. Or maybe even neutral, parens chaotic, if we're going by the 1E Dungeon Masters, or 1E Monster Manual. I didn't say Aang because that's so tough to say. I'm going to say Aang was neutral good. Aang recognized that spontaneity and randomness were good and wonderful things, but so is following the rules and following order. But he saw what too much order could bring, and he saw what too much chaos could bring. So he walked the middle path. So ang is neutral good. I'll check your video out, Command Post. Cowboy Bebop characters, chaotic, stupid, all of them. Yes, cheesecake goes excellently with barbecue. You want like a you want like a key lime cheesecake for pork or chicken, a strawberry cheesecake for beef. Now, if you're adding like shrimp to your barbecue, if you barbecue shrimp or lobster tail or whatever, then you can go back to the key lime, or you can do something radical and have another citrus flavor. I'm done, guys. I'm completely done. I want to thank you all for a wonderful night. I want to say big ups to Local Gumby, Volcano God, Mercury Wells, Calvinoni, and Lux Armuk for the supers. I love you all to pieces. And I don't know. I may have gotten all the anger out of my system. And yes, the dog is chaotic good. I'm sorry. So you guys have a good one. Who knows? Maybe I'll pop up on somebody else's live stream this weekend. I don't know. But regardless of what happens, keep your eyes peeled for the owl bear. Good night. I love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.